regret. That heavy feeling that kicks in when we realize we've made a mistake or taken the wrong path, often paired with the wish that things had turned out differently. It comes along with a wave of stress, leaving us overwhelmed and helpless, sometimes even wishing we hadn't realized the mistake in the first place, just to avoid that sinking feeling. Could have done this better. I should have done that. If only I had taken this seriously from the start. Ain't that all too familiar? But what comes after those thoughts? How do we confront our regrets and move forward? Melt from Oshi No Ko might have showed us the way, and in a way that's actually relatable and for once, feasible in real life. Oshi No Ko is so popular to the point that its manga sales is only behind these titles during 2023. But just in case you are not familiar with Oshi No Ko, here's a quick rundown. This story dives deep into the harsh realities and struggles faced by celebrities, idols, actors, and even those working behind the scenes in the entertainment industry. The protagonist of this video was first introduced during the TV adaptation of the manga Kyoama, or known as I Want to Go with Sweet Today in the series. He initially comes off as arrogant, ignoring Aqua and complaining about minor issues like the rain that's affecting his hair. This attitude clearly stems from his popularity and reliance on his looks, which unfortunately isn't all that surprising. His initial poor performance, coupled with his arrogance, does not win him any favor at all. His acting was so subpar, it almost made Kana's efforts in making Kyoama watchable to be in vain until Aqua stepped in, also seizing the opportunity to show him that acting is all about putting your emotions into it. That moment is exactly when Melt's self-realization begins. We eventually learn Melt's backstory, revealing how he became aware of his popularity. He is so accustomed to attention that even when he likes a girl first, she's the one who eventually confesses. His charm is so strong that even teasing others' quirks is seen as funny, reinforcing his belief in his superiority. With his looks and popularity, things went well for him all the time even if he winged it. But after seeing that performance, he came to realize, I can't afford to wing this anymore. He starts taking acting lessons, running every morning to build up stamina, getting involved in the group, and seeking advice, all to improve for his next acting role in Tokyo Blade and to change others' perceptions of him. Despite his progress, Melt still struggles to keep up with the seasoned actors during the practice sessions. The script revision that happened 2 weeks before the show didn't make it any better, as it demands more physical expression from the actors. And as a newcomer, this is even tougher for him, where he eventually faces the harsh reality of being told to watch and learn. This itself carries an implicit message, and that is, you're not good enough. He also gets called out for not being worthy of being called a pro, with harsh criticism labeling him as the worst performer in the group and accusing him dragging down the quality of the show. And these aren't the only things that are going bad for him. There's also the stress of being surrounded by the more experienced actors, the pressure of not being able to keep up, and the realization that he's not on their level. All of this puts up so much weight on his back and in his heart, and the anxiety of being stuck in such a rut is incredibly relatable for anyone that's trying to play catch up, whether in school or at work. And in Melt's case, it all points to the harsh reality that he's seen as nothing more than a flashy model who only got into acting due to connections. He knows he's lame and struggling, and not overestimating himself, he's painfully aware of how pathetic, disgraceful, and flawed he is. And no one is more frustrated by this than Melt himself, just like the character he's acting within Tokyo Blade. However, with Aqua's advice, he was able to focus on the right things and approaching the show's preparation in a strategic way, surprising the audience with a trick that was assumed only possible in the manga with his endless effort. And in that 1 minute, there is no one that he can lose to. I'm sure it's clear as day to you as well who are watching this right now that in that moment, his effort and struggles meant something. He may not have turned the entire game around, but he won this match. I love how realistically Mel has been written. In many stories, he would have already become a great actor, seamlessly fitting in with the top professionals in the show. And the path Mel had to gone through to reach to that point showed us that even when the past can be changed and perfection is out of reach, there is still value in striving and pushing forward and in finding meaning in the effort itself. I too have grappled with hindsight bias and regret as I've navigated through relationship, career paths, and countless other decisions in my life. Each step has been marked by a mix of frustration and reflection, with past choices sometimes but more often than not, casting a shadow on my present. But inspired by Mel's journey, I'm learning to embrace the frustration that accompanies with these regrets. I'm finding the strength in accepting them as a part of my growth and moving forward once again. I'm no longer solely focused on avoiding future regrets. Instead, I'm living with the belief that every effort I make carries its own meaning. At this point of the video, I invite you to recall the times when you faced regret and frustration. Did you confront them head on? What aspect can you improve? How are you facing them? Facing regret and frustration is definitely annoying, and sometimes the struggle in it feels to be in vain. But whatever you do, please remember this. There is meaning in every effort that you put in.